Hello, friends, and welcome to another installment of Go Tell It on the Mountain. This coming week, I have the opportunity of being in fellowship with the South Congregational Church in Centerville, Massachusetts, where Reverend Sally Norris is the pastor. How are you, Sally?
I'm doing well, Rev Goodwin. It is so good to be with you this afternoon. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you so much for the invitation. Sally and I were talking about a little earlier how sometimes as conference staff, we miss the invitation of the Advent season in the same ways that we had it when we were local church pastors. So it's always a gift to me to be with one of our congregations during this sacred time. And so, Sally, I'm very grateful to you for extending the invitation and letting me preach during Advent. Which I'm sure conference
Absolutely.
staff all over the country, we all are. We opportunity. So for you to share your pulpit in that way, I'm ever grateful. Most folks know on Go Tell It on the Mountain, I have three seminal questions, but I changed up the second one for this new round. So let's jump right in there. And Sally, the question is simply tell us about your call, journey, story, whatever word that you would use to ministry. And then if you throw in there your call to South Congregational Church, that would be great as well.
Great. So I think the fascinating thing about my call to ministry is that over all these years, and it's been a lot of years, it keeps on evolving.
Mm.
And so even though I knew at a young age, really by the age of 12, that ministry was the path I would follow, it is always evolving and changing almost with each era. And I think the journey has been filled with so much astonishing and amazing grace, probably far more than I've ever deserved. In part because God has entered in through different people, through different communities, and awakened me to
Mm.
new understandings of what the gospel means, who Jesus is in the world. I come from a place of white privilege. And it has taken, many, many years through amazing friends and colleagues to awaken me to hearing the voices of those who are excluded. And those voices have showed me a part of God that is extraordinary and amazing. And that has happened in my interactions with my African American community and friends, with the LGBTQ community. It helped me address my own anti-Semitism at a younger age. There were many ways where God has just come in to say, um, the gospel is about all voices together.
Mm.
And to a certain extent, being willing to share the power and the leadership with those whose voices have been traditionally excluded. And I think if there's anything that we need to do as church, it is to enable everyone to have a voice, everyone to say, this is who God is, and this is how I see and need God acting in the world. And in
Mm.
particular, those communities that traditionally have been excluded. So I have a great passion for making sure that any voice that has not had a voice gets to have one.
Amen.
And that is one reason why I'm a bit concerned. How do we go forward these next few years? We're going to have a special task to make sure that voices that are being pushed aside are come in and are there at the table.
Mm.
And so I see South Church as a place where I can try to make that happen, getting the church more involved in the wider community, um, and also hearing the stories of people who have struggles in their lives and honoring those as important to God, as important to the community, so that the church can be a place of grace and healing and restoration, both within the church and also take that outside so that we can be an agent for change, an agent for healing. So that's a bit of a very brief synopsis because it's been over 35 years. So it's a long journey, but I hope that gives a bit of insight.
I want to step out of the interview process to say this to you. People often ask me, where do I find hope? And I want to say, really personified, I find hope in people like you. Your own call story is connected to something that's like a heartbeat in our world: inclusion, access, seeking those who are on the margins, which is what I think this whole church thing is really about. Jesus was saying, I'm drawing people to me who might not have otherwise ever had this kind of connection. And I think we get confused sometimes that the church is really for those of us who have somehow acclaimed that Christ is Savior in our life. Well, sure, we're there to be equipped, but we're equipped so that we might go back into the world and be on the margins. And so to hear your call story inextricably connected to that, yeah, I have hope in what's happening at South Congregational Church. I have hope in the Southern New England Conference because I trust that there are so many of our faithful clergy and lay folks who are called in the same way that you described. So thank you. Thank you. I was trying my best to hold some tears back as you were talking, because I was like, yes, this is what we want. So my second question, right, you sort of alluded to at the end, based on like what the next few years will look like. So Reverend Sally Norris, where are you finding hope in the life of South Congregational right now?
I'm finding hope in the people here who are eager for vitality. In a sense, the church is in a reboot phase, and I'm finding that really exciting. And so are the folk here. These are people who volunteer with passion. They care about social justice. They care about the care for each other. I think it's astonishing. Whenever we've had a member in need, we can create a meal train almost instantaneously. It's amazing the love and care they have for each other. There's an eagerness to look at our building, which has a big educational wing that right now is not being used, and discover how can we repurpose this so that it provides ministry to the wider community. Another place where I really find hope, and this has been astonishing because I never expected this, is that bubbling up, in addition to the social justice passion, there also is a passion for just wellness and wholeness of soul. And all of a sudden, all these wellness practitioners have kind of come on our radar. And I'm thinking, this is amazing that this is a church that really wants to speak to the whole person and to the community. And so I find it just really hopeful, and that's why worship is marvelous on Sunday morning. You have that spirit of eagerness. These are good folk here, and they work hard. They love the church. They love God. They want to follow Jesus. This is the real deal, and it's inspiring.
Yes. I mean, I can't wait to be there on Sunday. just listening to you share that. You said two things that I think, hot off the presses. Our annual meeting speaker is Jamar Doyle, who serves as the president of Council of Health and Human Service Ministries.
Yes.
And what we're hoping to do is connect Jamar's sharing about actually the impact that our churches have regionally around health and human service ministries, from the volunteer hours to the donations to the agencies that share covenant with us. We're making a significant of impact. And I'm saying like billions of dollars of impact through the ministries that our churches offer, but we don't often make the connection. And so another place of hope is claiming our place as significant impactors in our region.
Yes.
So we're not just 100% dependent on a governmental investment here. Our local churches have historically filled in the gap around places of safety, places of sanctuary, housing, food insecurity, all of those things. The ministries of our churches have impacted in significant ways, and probably in ways we don't even codify. And so anyway, when you mentioned that, I thought, yes, we are doing that. That's part of our annual.
Indeed. Yes.
So thank you for sharing that. My last question is just how can people join us? And I'll say up front that depending on which social media platform you're watching this Go Tell It on the Mountain on, you can have a clickable link right to South Congregational Church's website in Centerville. But I'll also offer to you, Sally, maybe just make an invitation or if you want to say more about how people can join us.
Yes. You can join us in person. We're in Centerville Center, the center of Centerville, 565 Main Street. We are located between the Centerville Library and the 1856 Country Store. Or you can watch us online, and it would be either on the website or on our YouTube page. We will have it on Facebook after the fact. We discovered when we tried to live stream direct to Facebook that YouTube didn't like that. So we can only do that after the fact. So either the YouTube page for the church or the website, it will be up live. And I hope that you will join with us because I know we're going to have a fabulous sermon with you, Rev Goodwin. And we are so eager to welcome you and welcome Kenny. It will be an absolute joy for us.
So thank you so much just for taking the time to do this Go Tell It on the Mountain with me. And I am equally excited to spend some of the Advent season with you and South Congregational Church in Centerville. Folks, you probably already know from just listening to Reverend Sally Norris speak that South Congregational Church is a church where you can find hope and find it now. In the Southern New England Conference, we continue to highlight our churches, which are sources of light and hope in the region. And so if you have an opportunity, if it can't be this Sunday, maybe a future Sunday, if you're not quite ready to put your toe in the water of church, then please go to YouTube or the website that's listed above and learn more about South Congregational Church in Centerville. And maybe you just might find your own personal place of hope and light. Thank you so much, Sally, and I look forward to being with you this Sunday.
Thank you so much. Blessings.
Thanks.